Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the session 2, Safe and Resilient Housing Cities and Communities. So now I kindly invite the moderator and speakers of the session 2 to go up to the stage, please. Thank you very much. And now I ask Ms. Ishigaki to start the session.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid not many people are coming back from lunch. But yeah, because of the time constraint, let's start. So good afternoon. I hope you are fully energized after lunch. I'm a moderator of this session, Kazuko Ishigaki, Regional Director for Asia Pacific UN Habitat. I'm honored to be a moderator of this important session on behalf of UN Habitat. So let me first introduce our honorable guest panelists. From the right, from my side, Honorable Mr. Abdurahman Omary Shiloow, yes. Mayor of Tanga from Tanzania. The country I aspire to visit. And then the next is Honorable Madam Florence Namayanja, Mayor of Masaka from Uganda, a beautiful country where I visited twice. Yes. And then to the left from me, Mr. Amartuvshin Amgalanbayar, Deputy Governor of Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Yes. And lastly, Madam Normaira Binti Abdul Rahman, Vice Mayor of Seberang, Perai, Malaysia. The country of great hospitality where I'm always pleased to visit. So we have a very excellent gender balance and also a geographical balance with 2 representatives from Africa and 2 representatives from Asia. So regarding the modality of this session, after introductory presentation by myself to set the stage, I will invite each panelist to present their respective challenges, policies, and future directions regarding resilient and inclusive housing and urban development policies. And after all presentations, I will ask follow-up questions and then open the floor to the audience. Lastly, I will wrap up the session to highlight key takeaways. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, then let me start. In the beginning, I'd like to introduce UN Habitat and the background of this session. UN Habitat is a UN agency specializing in housing and urban development. And therefore, we are mandated to promote and monitor SDG Goal 11, which is to make cities more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. As a self-introduction, I want to share the video of our Philippine office because I recently visited the country and I think the video very effectively describes who we are and what we do. So, 動画お願いいたします。
Since 2003, UN Habitat has worked in the Philippines directly with the national government and more than 60 cities, provinces, municipalities, and landscapes in the areas of housing reconstruction, post-disaster rehabilitation, urban planning and design, resilience assessments, solid waste management, and marine plastic pollution reduction. UN Habitat has supported the government in developing urban policies, frameworks, guidelines, and tools which have guided urban development along sustainable pathways. Housing is central to UN Habitat's work in the Philippines. In post-conflict Marawi City, UN Habitat supported the establishment of 5 villages where 1,000 families now live in houses that they have planned, designed, and built themselves. These houses form the base from which the families are rebuilding their lives.
The house models are designed after the Maranao culture. I see it as a sign of respect to us. The houses would be a symbol of a new beginning, where every member of the family can start shaping their dreams and future together.
Pwede nyo ipagmalaki sa inyong mga kamag-anak at kaibigan na ngayon ay meron na kayong bahay.
We are very thankful for our partners from the government of Japan, Social Housing Finance Corporation, the UN Habitat, of course the Task Force Bangon Marawi, for prioritizing these projects for our people.
The United Nations system will continue to be your close partner at this pivotal moment of the reconstruction of Marawi, joining our efforts to build a future of peace and dignity for all.
The housing for sea-based indigenous people of the Sama Bajau in Surigao City, planned and designed with the Bajau community, retains the cultural identity of the Sama Bajau while providing upgraded basic services using nature-based solutions and environmentally responsive technologies, where every house has a rainwater harvesting facility and is powered by solar energy.
Ang ako lang di kadlukan dito kanang oras na tig nga bagyo kay labi na kon high tide maabot man gyud ang balay namo sa dagat.
Kani diri sa Sitio Panubigon, wanay angay kabalakhan namo kay tungod kaning balay gihatag sa UN Habitat. Grabe na ni kalig-on. Kaning paghimo sa plano sa balay, naami nakatan-aw kung unsay gipangkuhan sa mga panday o kaning kultura sa Bajau na arapod nagpabili ang kaning mga kawayan, kaning mga kuan, kahoy.
This Huyanan sa Bajau is not just a building of houses, it's building communities that will sustain itself.
It is not only a house, it's a future, it's a better life.
Every family monitors the child-level indicators of the Sustainable Development Goals through the Child SDG Report Card. A key SDG priority identified by the community is education for their children as well as for the mothers.
So I want to show until the last, but it's a long video, so I will stop here because this segment is focusing on housing project in Philippines. In the video, our colleagues said that rebuilding housing formed the basis for rebuilding people's lives. From the perspective of UN Habitat, adequate housing is not just a shelter, it's a human right. This view is confirmed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Housing must be seen both as human right and also as a platform for advancing people's lives, social welfare, economic stability, and entire aspects of sustainable development. Yet, 2.8 billion people cannot enjoy this human right. More than 300 million experience homelessness, while 1.1 billion live in informal settlements. Between 350 and 500 million people in informal settlements are children, growing up without secure homes, which undermines their education, health, and opportunities. And conflict and climate-induced displacement further compound the housing crisis, with 123 million people forcibly displaced by the end of 2024, of which 73% are hosted in low and middle-income countries. Looking ahead, the situation will become even more complex. Urbanization will add 2.2 billion people to cities by 2050, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, which will require at least 40 million new housing units annually. However, the solution to this crisis cannot be about simply increasing housing supply. The real crisis lies in systemic inequalities. The commodification of housing has disconnected homes from their social purpose, turning them into speculative assets. Unplanned urban growth has produced fragmented cities where informal settlements are often the only option for people in low income. Shrinking public budgets combined with over-reliance on market system have left millions excluded. Addressing these challenges require long-term integrated public policies that connect housing with land and basic services for all. Since its inception, the work of UN Habitat shifted the focus from simply building houses to supporting the overall living environment and seeing housing as central to sustainable urban development. Housing is the arena where the many important development challenges such as education, welfare, health, decent job, and security get interconnected. So we also recognize the need to strengthen dialogue that links housing, climate change, and resilience to foster sustainable and inclusive urban development. So housing needs to be structurally robust and also constructed in safe areas. That's why risk-informed housing policy and land use planning are critical to promote resilient urban development. We emphasize the crucial role of integrated land use planning that makes housing well connected to job opportunities and essential physical and social infrastructures such as health, education, and public transportation. With these as a background, this session will discuss the challenges that the cities face and the transformative approaches to housing that enhance inclusion and community resilience. Now it's time to invite our honorable panelists. I'd like to ask each panelist to share challenges, policies, and future directions regarding resilient and inclusive housing and urban development policies. Given the time constraints, I appreciate each panelist summarizing their presentation within 7 minutes. So I appreciate your collaboration. So first, I'd like to invite Honorable Mayor of Tanga, Mr. Abdurahman Omary Shiloow, Mayor of Tanga. Over to you.
Thank you very much, our beloved moderator. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abdurahman Omary Shiloow, Honorable Lord Mayor of Tanga City Council, which formed in Tanzania, in Africa. Those who know Tanzania is the country which just 3 weeks or 1 month ago took a gold medal in Japan. So I think for Japanese and the other countries, they'll recall it and understand which is Tanzania. It is led by a woman who is an iron lady. May I start with my presentation? As we are talking about the SDG 11, which is deal with the safe and resilient housing in communities and cities. The aim is to make cities and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient, as well as sustainable. Safe, resilient is crucial for achieving this goal. Development includes access of adequate and affordable housing, transport, and the other basic services. Improving air quality, waste management, limiting the impact of natural and man-made disaster, particularly in vulnerable communities and cities. Challenges which are facing this sector. There are several challenges, but kindly allow me to mention a few of them. Natural and man-made disaster, such as earthquake, flood, war, mining, and so on and so forth. Climate changes, such as hazard, wind, storms, rise of sea level, urbanization, and population growth, which is bringing poor housing in many cities and communities. Structural collapse due to urbanization and the poor housing, it will bring structural collapse, but also lead to health risks, loss in disasters. Poor building codes, enforcement of police, laws, and regulation. This brings to poor housing, poor planning, and such structural collapse. Way forward, or solutions. We advise for robust building codes and standards, sustainable and resilient material for infrastructure, incorporation of infrastructure and urban planning, community engagement and participation, city master plan, bylaws in local government and central government should facilitate, as well as risk management policy. Good example, I can take an example from Tanzania. Government should develop and enforce policies and regulation. Example, in Tanzania, there is a safe and resilient law policy, vision of 2025-2050, which was announced this year. This policy committed to SDGs with emphasis with resilient and infrastructure, which is SDG 9, as well as sustainable cities, which is SDG 11. Regulation terms from laws like Town and Country Planning Act and Environmental Emergency Act, housing policy. All of those are the instrumental which enforced in Tanzania. Through housing policy, Tanzania has managed to create a national housing corporation, whereby it has given specific tasks for construction and building houses for vulnerable people and to the cities, specifically in the large cities like a capital city of government in Dodoma, as well as business city of Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. This NHC has given the task to make sure in each year they make construction of new housing with a reasonable price and the hiring to civil servant and the other non-civil servant. Structural safety and hazard resistance. These houses is well structured and was made to manage safety as well as hazard. But also through these laws, there is a security tenure whereby each individual who is given land, given lease, possession lease, and that lease has a tenure for ownership, 33 years, 66 years, and 99 years. So this gives security and the rights of housing in our country, to belong or to possess the land as well as the house. Access to infrastructure service. So those who given rights and tenure, they make sure all their houses is well planned and access to all needed service such as infrastructure and other social services. In connection to that, also we have the Tanga Green Bond, which assisted us to make a good environment, because this Tanga introduced green water bond, whereby all people from Tanga region, which have about the population of 400,000 people due to the census of 2022, they are being given enough and quality water, but due to the population, much emphasis was needed. So this year, the green and the green water bond was introduced, whereby the bond, it is a government institution, but managed to get about 21.2 million US dollars. And the bond is working nicely of the rate interest of 13% per year. And after each 6 months, dividend is given, and now we are in the third terms of provide dividend to the shareholders who bought the bond. And 60% of those who bought the bond were the international entities, not Tanzania. Only 40% come from Tanzania. So the intention is to make sure there is a safe housing and resilient for providing social service such as clean water and the sewage system. On top of that, there is a program of Tanzania Strategic Cities Program, which is sponsored by the World Bank. This program focused on community infrastructure, upgrading, and the local capacity building to various sectors of community, such as to upgrade roads from the earth road to gravel road, from gravel road to tarmac road. This is to make safe and resilient housing where it is accessible and affordable to the vulnerable communities. On top of that, we have also a program of green and smart cities project, only in 3 regions in Tanzania, where one region it is in Ireland, Zanzibar, and 2 regions it is in mainland in Tanzania, while Tanga is inclusive. This green and smart cities sponsored by different stakeholders from the global entity. It is not from the Tanzania. Dear colleague, in conclusive, can I say safe and resilient housing is not a luxury. It is not a luxury. With smart planning, with local involvement and community participation, good governance, innovation, much can be done even if we have a limited resource. Thank you so much for listening and understanding our presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shiloow, for your very inspiring presentation, especially with a focus on legal instruments and also financial instruments, which are very, very informative. So thank you very much. And next, I'd like to invite Mayor of Masaka City, Uganda, Madam Florence Namayanja. Madam Namayanja, over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Yes, I've come here to discuss challenges, policies, and future direction regarding resilience and inclusive housing policies in Masaka City. I'll start by giving a background so that you get to know where we are coming from. Masaka City is a city in Uganda. It was elevated from a municipality in the year 2020. Masaka City is 362 square kilometers. Before it was a municipality of 46 square kilometers. Like any other city, this municipality has annexed areas which came from rural wards, now being expanded. This implies that housing and land use in the annexed areas was unplanned and therefore require an upgrade, which means that housing in such locations lacks accessibility to amenities like piped water, electricity, tarmacked roads, proper infrastructure, and waste management. The city is faced with the challenges of increased cost of assets, especially in Uganda. Land now more than ever. The cost of land in the city is astronomical and unaffordable to the majority of the people who are poor. This has bred an inequality where few who have access to resources determine the cost of housing, which affects low-income earners. The city is also faced with climate change challenges, and it has also affected housing in the city, whereby in every rainy season, there is property destruction in several wards caused by storms, leading to displacements. Another challenge is increased population growth due to rural-urban migration, especially after COVID. This has not matched the housing supply in the city, leading to an increase in the cost of houses in urban areas and development of slums. We have available regulations and policies. Housing in Uganda is regulated by Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. The National Housing Policy, whose objective is to provide adequate housing for all. The Land Act, the National Physical Planning Board, and many other regulatory acts, which we look upon to see that we get the people benefit from these regulations. Locally, at my level, the city has in place a building control committee, which is established by the Building Control Act, and it is composed of councillors, technical officers, and a police officer, with the obligation to ensure that safe and standard housing is adhered to by developers. This all-stakeholder representation ensures compliance, orderly housing, and inclusion. Apart from publicly owned land, the city ensures equality by strictly enforcing non-discriminatory practices. Anyone can own a land anywhere. There are no zones reserved for high income, all relegating the poor to undesirable accommodation. It is our mandate as city leaders to ensure that we guide the people on how to live and how to stay in community. To push back on climate change, we have invested in sensitization and conservation of natural resources like wetlands, forests, for disaster risk reduction. We have, together with the youth, embarked on a rigorous process of planting trees in all city wards. And what is interesting on my side, we have made it mandatory for all building plans that are to be approved in the city to include an area of greening, and all new developments must have a greenery. Future directions for resilience and inclusive housing. We have decided to deregulate building requirements to reduce on the building application period. We intend also to digitalize the system so that applications are made online and plans uploaded on the city portal to cut the bureaucracy in the building application process and thus encourage house supply. Formalization of existing structures. When we came into leadership in the year 2021, we found structures that had already been constructed. We came up with a policy, which we now call as-built policy, to encourage inclusivity and upgrade informal settlements. We intend to survey and map all existing structures, especially from annexed areas that were constructed without proper plans, to establish a digital database for the city to acknowledge and plan for the extension of services and infrastructure to such locations. We intend to revise or even eliminate local rental tax so that landlords can cut back on the rent, hence increasing affordability. Ensure a public-private partnership with financial institutions like the Housing Finance Bank to provide small interest rates to home construction, also liaise with the church, which is such a big landowner in the city, to develop low-cost housing projects to increase housing availability. I've called upon landlords and other partners to come and partner with us as leaders to see that this is achieved. Gazette and upgrade slum areas. We have an area in Nyendo Mokungwe division. 15% of the people in this division live in slums. We have integrated and planned for such areas into the new city physical development plan, which is awaiting approval from the Ministry of Housing. Members, housing is not just about buildings. Housing is about creating homes where dreams take root and communities thrive. This is the National Housing Policy of Uganda 2016. I call upon UN Habitat because you care for the lives of the people to partner with us to ensure that our dream is achieved. I thank you for your attention. I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Madam Namayanja, for very informative presentation. Despite many challenges such as climate change and fragmented planning or insufficient infrastructure, despite those challenges, I was fascinated with many innovative and transformative policies such as nature-based solutions like wetland conservation with participation of youth, and also the use of digital technology like the planning building code application process, utilizing the digital technology or digital base map. Those are very, very advanced and very, very useful experience that should be shared with other cities. So thank you very much, Madam Namayanja. So we have run the initiatives of 2 cities from Africa, both of which are quite inspiring. And now I'd like to move from Africa to Asia. I'd like to invite Mr. Amartuvshin, Deputy Governor of Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia.
Bit low, sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone had a very good and pleasant and delicious lunch. Sure? Okay. So, okay, I will keep my presentation as short as possible and as much as informative as possible. So, first of all, I would like to express my and our gratitude to the host city of Toyota, of course, and organizing committees, plus UN Department of Economical and Social Affairs Department, and plus UN Habitat, of course. I would like to extend my warm greetings and wish you all peace and well-being, and also success to this occasion, also success to these meetings, of course. And also I would like to say that first snow already being in our city. So it's like the first snow of this winter. Now it's in the capital city, and it's already -16. So it's like winter is coming in our capital city. So it's soon will be also a bit cold here too. So be prepared. And I will keep, of course, as I said before, I will keep my presentation as short as possible, so to give more time to the discussion session. Well, challenges and difficulties in development remain common across all cities in worldwide, regardless whether a city has established 2 centuries ago or 200 years ago. Only recently, urban areas everywhere continue to face similar challenges, such as like housing, air pollution, urban congestion, energy supply, infrastructure, public transportation, and urban planning. Although Mongolia ranks among the top countries in the world in terms of the land area per capita, 50% of the national total population resides in capital cities. So the total population of our country is 3.5 million. So it's like more than 50% resides in capital city of Ulaanbaatar. And moreover, 84% registered vehicles are operating in Ulaanbaatar city, and 70% of registered enterprises, 85% of trade and service activities, 96% of universities, which is almost all universities, and 67% of the national GDP are concentrated on single city. Compared to 1990, the population of Ulaanbaatar has increased 3.2 times, while its settlement area has expanded 6-fold, mainly due to the resettlement from the rural provinces to the city, which is directly impacts to the insufficient access to centralized heating, electricity, clean water, and wastewater system. The city is facing serious challenges such as air and environmental pollution, traffic congestion, and the expansion of the gear areas with the limited infrastructure access. We are working to transform Ulaanbaatar city from the monocentric city into a multi-centric city to address the root cause of the air and soil pollution, namely the expansion of the gear areas and the lack of infrastructure. We are implementing the gear area provincial policy. The policy aims to decentralize urban concentration, urbanize gear areas, and reduce congestion and environmental pollution by creating integrated solutions for living environments, infrastructure, social services, and business opportunities. In this regard, we are planning to develop 6 sub-centers throughout the city. We are also implementing gear area housing policy and program based on these sub-centers. This program will provide residents with the safe and healthy living conditions through the construction of the integrated residential complexes to be implemented in 3 phases. By 2040, we plan to urbanize 84% of the gear areas, while the remaining 60% will consist of comfortable private houses built on the residents' own land. In total, little over 200,000 housing units will be built across the 98 locations, accommodating approximately little over 700,000 residents. Urban housing development in Ulaanbaatar is not only about the numerical growth, it aims to create a people-centered and healthy, sustainable, environmentally friendly city. In this purpose, the gear area redevelopment, we adhere 6 core principles incorporating green housing solution, including buildings of 5 to 6 stories, use of renewable energy sources, energy-efficient heating systems, grey water reuse systems, at least 30% green spaces, and use recyclable and eco-friendly materials. We are aligning our green development strategy with the international standards and implementing the national best care methodology equivalent to global certification systems such as LEED and EDGE. Through these efforts, we aim to develop Ulaanbaatar into a resilient city that leads in sustainable development and climate change adaptation. Between 2025 to 2028, Ulaanbaatar city will implement several major projects aimed to reducing air and environmental pollutions and at higher traffic congestion. Our medium-term project and activities will be implemented not only through the state budget, but also under the public and private partnership, which is PPP, and multilateral cooperation framework. Once again, I wish you all the best to my counterparts, and health, prosperity, and success in creating a resilient and people-centered urban city. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for keeping time. Thank you very much. And also, it was very informative presentation. The Ulaanbaatar seems to be struggling from the very typical urban issues like traffic congestion or air pollution. But in response to that, they are redeveloping the existing areas and also the mega project utilizing the PPP scheme. And so these are also very interesting examples, especially for middle-income countries, I think. So thank you very much, Mr. Amgalanbayar, for sharing very informative presentation. So lastly, I'd like to invite Madam Normaira Binti Abdul Rahman, Vice Mayor of Seberang, Perai, Malaysia. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for Madam Chairman. Okay, good evening. Right now, 2:20 Japan time. Good evening to distinguished mayor, city leader, and the participants. My name is Normaira Binti Abdurahman, representing Seberang City Council from Malaysia. May I know all of you who has been in Seberang of Malaysia before this? Yeah, two of them. But it's okay. Today, in my humble sharing, I will share what is Seberang Perai and then what is about Seberang managed to do in terms of towards the safe and resilience housing in urban regeneration program. Okay, first of all, truly an honor to join. I feel and so honored to join this international event. Thank you to Toyota City Foundation, Toyota City organizer. Thank you to UN Habitat and all the organizers. All of people know the Toyota City is a place well known for its innovation, sustainability, and community-driven governance. So today I'm here to share how Seberang a city on the rise, is transforming the urban landscape under towards building safe and resilient housing in urban regeneration. Okay, our story today is about the public, people, and partnership, the 4 P's, public, people, and partnership. How we are building not just home, but hope and resilience for future generation. And then last today, I just saw on UN Habitat page, which is quote by Antonio Guterres, which is Honorable Secretary General of UN, which is say that resilience must be embedded into the foundation of the development. So we are having today, we are assembling today to say what is the resilience, what is the capacity of the local governments to what we call to accelerate the resilience to the community and stakeholders. Okay, let me begin by introduction of the Seberang Perai. Seberang Perai is the state of Penang consists of two parts, Penang Island, where the capital city of the Georgetown is located. Seberang Perai on the mainland side, so we are on the mainland side, and then together they form the beating heart of the Penang states. Seberang Perai lies strategically at the northern gateway of Malaysia Northern Conurbation chapter, which is border with the Kedah and Perak state. We cover about 751 square kilometer area, housing, and then we are cater about 1.08 million people. We are density about 1,439 person per square feet. And then the city is divided to the three districts, north, center, and south, which is comprising 54 localities administered by Seberang Perai City Council. Okay, next is about how did Seberang Perai City Council localizing the SDG. Okay, our development agenda is deeply rooted with SDG, which is, we consist of 17 SDG, but for Seberang Perai City Council, the concentration SDG is 3 to 4 SDG, which is to become resilient, inclusive, green, competitive, and technology-driven of SDG. Our mission is to deliver urban services planning infrastructure that effective, efficient, and responsive to the community needs. Based on the 70 SDG, we align with the Penang 2030, which is a state-level policy that inspires a city to create a family-focused, green, and smart state that inspires the nation. So the SDG is connected with the Penang 2030 state-level policy, which is we, as a city council, work for that to vision, demonstrate our strong local action in response to the global challenge like climate change and urban equality. Okay, next, this is what I mentioned just now about the SDG and Penang 2030. The alignment with the SDG 11, sustainable city and the community is central to our work. So, both of the city council in Penang strategically plan ahead of the action plan and the program under SDG 11 and then few SDG also. As we implement in Penang 2030, we emphasize 4 interconnected SDG. The first SDG is SDG 3, SDG 5, SDG 11, and then SDG 17. This framework ensures that every local project in Seberang Perai must be contribute well to the global ambitions. So strategically, to implement the SDG and Penang 2030, Seberang Perai City Council developed the strategic plan from 2023 to 2030, which is operationalized this idea based on the 4 interventions. The first KRA is resilient, inclusive, green, and then competitive. We use the balanced scorecard BSC method to monitor performance under the 4 perspectives, which is we engage very well with our stakeholders, internal process, financial management, and last but not least is learning and growth. So this system, we ensure that our development remain people-centered, accountable, and measurable. So maybe all of the delegates today know about the GRPB, Gender Responsive Participatory Budgeting, which is this GRPB fall under gender SDG 5 for gender equality. For all of your info, we was started the GRPB on 2012, which is a key innovation under our government model to initiate the budget. Traditionally, our budget were decided behind what we call behind the door, behind the scene, because of all the people didn't know or the community didn't know what was budget is go on. But for Seberang Perai, we has opened the budget process to the community, making it more participatory, equitable, and gender sensitive. So through the town hall dialogue, engagement, focus group, and digital consultation, we invite citizens, especially women, youth and underrepresented community to voice their priority. And then for the budget 2026, we managed to compile 4,200 feedback from the community towards this JRPB. Okay, so here today, I'm so lucky to share what was Seberang Perai doing regarding the safe and resilient housing. Yes, when we talk about housing, all people always think like not enough housing, not enough land. The housing is so expensive. The housing is, the housing for the certain people only can accommodate to buy the house. So I'm here today to share one of the physical and community program of our approach in Batuah Baru Regeneration Program, which is Seberang Perai Trust Housing, not only the merely shelter, is their human right and foundation to achieve. So this project we call the Kampung Bagali Precinct, which created a community center printing that serve at the heart of the neighborhood area. We choose this neighborhood area to do the urban regeneration project because of around the what we call around the Batuah precinct development, we have about 2,200 low medium cost and then affordable housing around this area. So this project has been counted by MBSP, Seberang Perai City Council, due to we know all of the people is living here in the low income group. So we came here to do the urban regeneration exercise to upgrade and then to accelerate the better facility to the communities. And then this is the place-making approach that we're using in the Batuah Baru Urban Regeneration Project. The approach of the method of this program to, to bring the people together and then to ask people what was they want and then what need to do with them. It's about the people designing on their own space. So this project is about involve the few, what we call few pace, identifying potential, conducting engagement, and etc. And then for all of your information, this project is started 2015 and then paused on 2020 due to the pandemic. And then right now, last year, 2024, I managed to accelerate or to what we call to send all the 4 intervention upgrading to the community, which is right now, the community can use the facility, especially for the low income group in the residential area for free. Okay, this is the what we call the community survey and result, and then the regeneration project. I'm pretty sure so aligned directly with the National Urban Agenda SDG 11. And then we know that the community, based on our, our engagement, though the community directly put the recreation space and the social hub, and then to fostering the connection among the residents is the what we call the compulsory thing. Because of that urban regeneration exercise, we took out based on the need, want, and requirement of the community. Then last but not least, this is the adaptive reuse Batuah Digital Library. I'm happy to share here, before we take over this building, this 24 years of the abandoned building, and then right now, if you can see, the building is ready to use for the community, low income group, and then low income family, and then can access the Batuah Digital Library for free. It's good. Yeah, I know when we upgrading the facility, we couldn't be, we just deliver and then it's up to community. But this is not happen in Batuah, which is the space is free to access for free internet access, digital learning facility, reading lounge, and a multi-purpose area for the low income group. I'm pretty sure all over the country, all over the world, really concerned on the low income group initiative and what we call the facility. So Seberang Perai City Council view housing resilient not only in isolation but as part of the living ecosystem where safe, inclusive, green public space straighten up the safety, climate resilient, and social fabric of the surrounding home. And then last but not least again, before I conclude my presentation today, we look towards 2030 and beyond. We believe that all the cities around the world not only grow, they must grow responsibility, equitability, and resiliently. On behalf of Seberang Perai City Council, thank you very much for me to share our journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Rahman. I was especially impressed with a completely participatory approach, especially gender-sensitive participatory budgeting, and also how you design urban regeneration project utilizing participatory planning process. So affordable housing is closely linked with public services such as pocket park and community centers. This is the approach that we also want to promote. So thank you very much for very interesting case. Yes, I need to wrap up, but before that, I want to ask a follow-up questions because each panelist are coming far from each country to attend this forum and especially this session. So to achieve SDGs, we need to step forward and especially we need to be forward-looking. So my follow-up question to every panelist now is that what is your vision or next step building on what you have achieved and what you have learned, because you shared what you did, you shared your challenges and your policies. So building on that, what would be your next step? So this is my follow-up question to all of you. Yes. So again, from this side, Mr. Sorry, it's difficult name, Mr. Abdurahman Omary Shiloow. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, head of this panelist. Our next step is to make sure the bottom-up approach in all issues regarding to safe and resilient housing. This means we need to make the ownership of the land and the possession of the houses. That is why I said before, now we're providing the lease for the land to the individual in our country for the tenure of 33 years, 66 years, and 99 years. And luckily enough, in Tanzania, now each and everything goes through digitalized. If you want to acquire land, you have to apply through the system, through the digital. You are not supposed to go to the government office to ask for anything. Even the payment you are doing digitally. And this, it reduces bureaucrats from the government official to the individuals. Whether you are the foreigners, whether you are the citizen, you just go to the respective portal, you make a request, you are given the answers, you given the process, you pay whether through the mobile, through the bank, and so on and so forth, you get your receipt, you claim, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, you just go to claim your lease physically. So we thought this can reduce unnecessary issues which is regarding safe housing. On top of that, as I said earlier also in my presentation, there is this entity or institution known as National Housing Corporation, given the task to build houses, and these houses is hired to the civil servant and non-civil servant for the low price. but also is sold to the individual who are manageable to buy them with installment, not by cash. Even the lower civil servant who cannot afford to construct or to build a house, if they are given an opportunity of buying those houses for 5 years or 10 years by deduction through their salaries, as well as for the petty business people, petty traders, and so on and so forth. The issue is to minimize the problem of houses in our country. As you know, there is a lot of issue to discuss, but time is very limited. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, taking it from there, we have already discussed and understood that housing is a fundamental human right. We have to take it on from there, all of us, to inform the community, to demand for this fundamental human right, and also to sensitize and inform the communities and leaders to make it so easy and simplify anything to do with housing to make it affordable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I would like to highlight two issues, also incorporating with the question. First of all, Governor of Masaka, Uganda, Honorable Mrs. Florence, was mentioning in her presentation that everyone can own the land anywhere the policy, because we incorporated this policy around 20 to 25 years ago in Ulaanbaatar city. Now we have getting an issue of the reincorporating and repurchasing this land back, because in order to expand the city, we need the actual land. In order to reconstruct the slum areas, the low-income areas, we actually need the land. So cities is already buying these issued lands, which is costing the city tens and tens millions of USD, in order to just to expand the city and just to expand its pipelines, electricity cables, heating lines, expanding its roads and build newer roads in order to reduce the traffic congestion. So that's the thing that also we need to incorporate. Also we need to keep in mind when we plan the city correctly, because we think we are 25 years ago, we made a mistake on planning the city that way. It was a good PR during the time, but after 2012 West, that becomes a main headache to our capital city. So please, Ms. Florence, consider this issue depending on our current situation. And back to the question is that most of the Asian cities, particularly cities in the north, we live in colder areas, which is almost 8 to 9 months of the year. We need the heatings. So currently Ulaanbaatar and mostly Mongolia uses coal-based heating and electrical plants. So that actually gives much more concern of the air pollution and use of coal in large scale. So Ulaanbaatar city is more concentrated in transforming use of the coal into a renewable energy source, to solar source, to the gas source. That is Ulaanbaatar city's next biggest challenge, because currently now there is 5 coal-based power plants are currently working in Ulaanbaatar city and burning around more than 500,000 of raw coal actually in the capital city. So that's the main headache of our capital city, to transforming it to the more cleaner version of the electricity. In that respect, we are transforming most of the use of transforming it from central heating to the multi-central heating systems, such as gas, geothermal heatings, and so on. And cooperating with the UNDP, we already transforming like around thousands and thousands of households to the solar panels. And most of the newer relocated areas are transformed into geothermal energy sources. Yeah, so we also have to keep in mind that the colder city uses much more coal, much more energy we need to produce in order to actually to survive the 9 months of coal and heating system. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, last but not least, I'm the last one. Towards my portfolio, right now, ongoing finalized the voluntary local review for Seberang Perai, expected to submit next coming December. I think better late than never. Maybe most of the city here was doing the submission, but Seberang Perai is ongoing to do the submission. And then, yeah, regarding the task of the urban regeneration on urban regeneration of safety and resilient community, I quite, my mayor asked me last week to do the same exercise next city, which is we call the Bukit Mentajam. So for me, under my portfolio and supervision, this is my new task, my new challenge to do the second urban regeneration project, because of when you do the urban regeneration exercise, not the greenfield developments, but the urban regeneration exercise, you must know what was people is ongoing on site, and then you need to know what my city council as Seberang Perai City Council demonstrate to activate the abandoned area back, because of I pretty sure all over the world so many cases on urban regeneration exercise study, and then because of that my mayor asked me to do again and again on urban regeneration. So I was falling in love with placemaking in urban regeneration. So right now I am going to finalize to complete my PhD in placemaking of urban regeneration. So please do pray for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for very brief but very important the feedback. Thank you very much. So I really wanted to open the question and the comments from the audience, but unfortunately we are running out of time. So if you have any comments or questions, please directly talk to the mayors in coffee break. So I appreciate your understanding. So now it's time to wrap up. Today's session has highlighted the diverse yet interconnected challenges in housing, land, and basic services, and in general, urban development, entire urban development across 4 cities, 2 from Africa and 2 from Asia. Each panelist shared their challenges and transformative, unique initiatives with the aim of overcoming such challenges, and also they shared the vision, the next step. So I'd like to ask the audience to connect their experiences to your own strategic path in your cities. That would be really fruitful result from this important forum. My closing remark is that, as you heard, the urbanization, climate change, and inequality are converging. So globally, the urgency is clear. Decisions made now will define whether billions will live in adequate and secure housings or in deepening precarity in future. So I'd like to emphasize that adequate housing is a human right, human dignity, and the foundation for sustainable urban development. It underpins the social welfare, strengthens the economies, and is essential for climate resilience. So finally, by taking this opportunity, I'd like to invite you to the World Urban Forum in May 2026 at Baku, Azerbaijan. It's the largest forum regarding urban development in the world. You can share your own experience to inspire other cities like this session. And also you can get connected to many resource persons and organizations. So it's a great opportunity for mutual learning and expanding your partnership. So we need to learn from each other and work together to make our cities inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. So finally, I'd like to thank both the speakers and also audience for producing such an interesting session and discussion. So please join me for giving a big round of applause to panelists.